Welcome again to our Zoom and FB participants to our webinar titled Let's Talk Consent, Teaching Kids About Boundaries and Respect. This webinar is brought to you by the Institute of Pediatrics Learning Academy. Watch out for this logo for our future webinars. Now I have my coffee and I think we're ready for our conversation. To start our webinar, allow me to introduce our speaker for today. Dr. Soydemir Claire Gresha is the child protection specialist from the following hospitals: Medical City, Marikina Valley Medical Center, and the Venezuela City Child Protection Center. So she's also a consultant pediatrician for the following clinics and hospitals. So good morning, Doc Soy.
Good morning po, everyone.
And say good morning rin sa ating mga participants. Magandang umaga po sa lahat.
Good morning po to our viewers today.
Ah, Yan. Parami po ang ating mga participants. Maraming salamat. Merong tayong from San Jose del Monte, Bulacan, from Tungko. Marami yan. Okay. Ayan. And still coming in. Maraming salamat po. I'd like to introduce myself naman po. I'm Dr. Ronel, but my nickname's Jojo, Jojo Matibag. I'm a consultant pediatrician for Medical City and also part of the ER and Hospital Ethics Committee of Taguig Pateros District Hospital. O yan. Acknowledging as far as Palawan, cool yun. Meron po tayong participant. Magandang umaga po sa lahat. So, parami ng parami. And then, thank you very much again for joining us today. Doc Soy and I are very excited. We want to make sure na makapag-provide tayo ng magandang conversation for today. So our topic is about consent. And when we talk about consent, there's so many important things. Sometimes we're familiar with consent sa mga matatanda, and then may alam rin tayong written consent. Pero meron rin tayong discussion about how to get or how to respect consent para sa kids. Dok Soy, tama ba yon? Yan. Yan, parami ng parami. Yan. We're waiting for more people to come in. Thank you very much. Welcome po. Good morning po. It's very nice to see everyone or to have everybody join sa atin. Yan. Okay. So mga po, meron tayong mamaya exciting yung conversation natin. You'll have some information about very common yung ginagawa natin. Hindi ko naman ipe-preempt pero yung iba rito ginagawa natin or unknowingly, innocently ginagawa natin. Pero we're not aware na meron pala dapat gawing acknowledging pwede natin makita siya. But we also want to put some good things or syempre ma-highlight naman yung benefits ng ibang bagay. It's not all about negatives.
Hi, Dr. again.
Hi,
Sorry, I'm
Soy.
back.
No problem. Yan. So we're prepping na lang. I'd like to welcome everybody sa group. Parami ng parami. We'll continue to admit other participants para mas maraming kausap, maraming kasama sa conversation. I hope everybody's having a good day. Start ng morning. Weather's good. Hopefully, dire-diretso tayo. Uh, yan. Morning po. Yan. We're trying to admit everybody. Yan. We're still waiting for some. Pasok lang po. Gandang umaga po. Mhm. Okay. So, yan. Marami from Bulacan. Very nice to hear from people from or see people from Bulacan. So again, we're going to discuss or we're going to have a conversation about consent. Teaching kids, I'd like to show you a small slide or a short slide. Tingnan natin kung sino dito yung nagpa-practice nito o ginagawa nito. So if we can see the next slide, napapakita natin, it's just a short presentation. Commonly ginagawa ng mga tao or mga parents. So this is an example of what we're going to discuss today. So yan, you see mothers or a mom taking pictures of everything, good and bad experience, pero social media talaga. And then we're sharing it. So marami sa inyo, I think, are hindi naman guilty. Syempre, binabanggit natin, ginagawa natin to because we think it's okay. And we're here to discuss na yes, it can be okay, but we're talking about something called consent sa kids. Doc Soy, ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng consent?
Ayan, Doc Jo. When we talk about consent, we mean permission that is freely and willingly given po. So, consent is voluntary. It cannot be forced, pressured, or manipulated. A hesitant, okay, or maybe, or silence is not consent. So, real consent is always a clear and enthusiastic yes. Consent must be mutual. So both people need to agree and clearly and openly. So if only one person is willing and the other is not, one is saying yes, then there is no consent po pag ganon. So consent also has to be informed. Kailangan po maiintindihan maigi kung ano ba yung pag-oo-ohan natin or what we're agreeing to. So imagine kasi yung isang bata pinahiram niya yung toy niya. Hindi naman niya alam na ilalabas pala yun, madudumihan o masisira sa labas. So hindi po yun consent, di po ba? So then, hindi po sila nag-fully consent that time. So kapag hindi malinaw ang sitwasyon, there is no real consent. That's why communication is so important. Asking questions, listening carefully, and making sure that everyone understands the same thing. And consent is also ongoing. So kahit pumayag sila kanina, if someone changes their mind now or after 1 minute, then the choice must be respected immediately. Consent is not automatic or permanent. It has to be renewed each time. And we need to stress that consent is mandatory. It's never optional to ask. It's something we must always do in every situation. And consent should also be enthusiastic. Both people should feel safe, comfortable, and willing. And if someone looks unsure or sounds reluctant, that's not consent. At the heart of all these principles is respect. So respect for our own choices and respect for the choices of others. So yan yung consent, Doc Jo.
Thank you for that introduction sa consent, Doc Soy, no? So, we also want to stress na knowing consent, meron na tayong discussion about consent or a background, introduction sa consent. Pero meron tong application no parang scenarios in different age group. So bawat isang age group may iba't ibang processing or parang application of consent. First stage natin or first age group natin is usually below 9. So ito yung mga primary school na pasyente natin. So there's consent for kids. For below 9 years old, ito nga yung mga kakapasok lang sa school or just starting about sa school natin. But this is a good opportunity to discuss consent in terms of how to understand their feelings. Dapat madidiscuss natin how are they feeling. Are you happy? Are you scared? Are you excited? And also, starting point ng discussion on how to tell them that their bodies belong to them and about personal boundaries. We'll discuss personal boundaries and body the identification later. Pero at this time, pwede rin tayong, this stage ng age nila, pwede tayong magsimula magsalita about, discuss ng feeling something's wrong or confusing. They can verbalize and then they can communicate. Ito isang bagay na very common. Parang sa atin is, yung concept ng consent sa below 9, hindi na natin minsan pinapaalam na i-hug natin yung bata, hihalikan mo yung bata, kikiss mo. Kids can be told that they can say no, they can say stop when they don't want to be hugged or they don't want to be kissed. So kahit kay lola, kahit kay tito, kay tita, pwede nating sabihin yon. If they feel uncomfortable, pwedeng gawin. If ginagawa, they can also say stop. At the same time, this is a good way or good starting point for you to discuss lalo na about consent with other people acknowledging. So kunwari, they take pictures of their playmates together. They can talk about, do you want or is it okay for me to share this with my mom or with my family or with others? So starting point talaga yung below 9 for consent. For older age groups, Doc Soy, meron rin tayo, di ba, ang discussion on consent.
Yes po, Doc Jo. So, sa mga early adolescents, 10 to 13, they are adjusting pa po sa puberty and rapid body changes. So, they become more self-conscious and mas sensitive sila about privacy and personal space. So, at this stage, they start noticing that hindi lahat ng tao shares the same comfort level sa kanila, and learning to respect these differences is very important. So, yun nga, katulad kanina na nasabi, pag kunwari, meron content sa TikTok na gustong i-post, 'di ba? Kunwari meron silang dance na shoot, so kailangan magpapaalam kung pwede 'yun i-post, 'di ba? So consent at this stage is often about everyday situations. Kunwari physical play, sharing belongings, or posting on social media. Gaya ng nasabi na children need to hear that their boundaries are real and it deserves respect. And equally, they must also learn to respect when others set boundaries. So for middle adolescents, mga 14 to 17, teens are more likely to begin dating. Dito na po yon, and exploring relationships. So at this stage, consent is not just about hearing a quick yes. So for it to be valid, di ba po, sabi natin, it must be freely given without pressure, fear of consequences, guilt, or coercion. Coercion, hindi lang po yun sa pamimilit. Sometimes, di ba, you can hear, oh, pag love mo ko, gagawin mo to. So that is a form of coercion and hindi po yun consent. Because many teens fear rejection or they want to fit in, they may hesitate to say no, even if hindi na sila komportable. That's why active check-ins are important. Asking po, oh, okay ka pa ba? Komportable ka ba dito? It creates space for honesty. So, online boundaries are just as real. So, sharing someone's image without permission is never okay. And teens have the right to refuse or send or keep intimate photos. And then, non-verbal cues also matter. So, kung kunwari, someone looks away or goes quiet or seem unsure, that's a signal to pause and ask. So, check in tayo ulit. So silence or lack of resistance should never be mistaken as consent. And practicing this helps teens create relationships where both people feel safe and respected. So in late adolescence, so young people have more independence and may form longer, more intimate relationships. So here, it's important to emphasize that consent must always be ongoing, enthusiastic, and reversible. So sabi nga natin, kahit na pumayag kanina, they can change their minds at any point. And that decision must be respected immediately. Consent is also invalid if someone is drunk, high, or unconscious. So alcohol and drugs impair decision making. So even if a person looks relaxed or kung nagfa-flirt pa siya, that's not valid consent. This principle is clear in laws and in public health guidelines worldwide. So another aspect is power differences. It also affects how we go about yung consent. So in relationships with large age gaps or where one person is holds authority, like for example, teacher and student or coach and player, the younger or less powerful person cannot give free and voluntary consent. That's why professional codes of conduct and child protection laws prohibit these relationships. The imbalance of power removes the possibility of genuine agreement. And when teens practice consent, they learn empathy, accountability, and respect for others' dignity. Consent education prepares young people for adult life, where trust, respect, and communication form the basis of healthy relationships. So, a big part of this is helping them feel comfortable talking about their own bodies clearly. Because when we can communicate about our bodies, our boundaries, and safety, become much easier to understand and protect. So yan po, Doc Jo.
Thank you, Doc Soy. So sa mga viewers natin, no, parang binigay namin kayo ng background on the definition of consent and the different age group na nagdi-discuss ng consent and the application of consent. I think isang takeaway dito yung diniscuss ni Soy doon sa latter part, no? Yung consent at this young age serves as the foundation for consent in the older age group. So when we were discussing kanina yung below 9, kung naiintindihan nila yon, nagsimula tayong discuss yung consent, feeling safe, feeling dinidiscuss nila yung personal boundaries, able to communicate, yun yung nagiging basis for the consent understanding as they grow older hanggang sa tumanda sila. So one of the things na tinitingnan natin is pag early age, dinidiscuss na natin yung concept ng consent, but we also need to discuss boundaries and how they perceive or how they talk about their bodies. So we're teaching personal safety. So ito isang topic na very important sa amin, and then sometimes taboo naman para sa iba. Sa chat box po, let's talk about what are the names na ginagamit natin to our kids when we start discussing or talking to them about their private parts? Ano yung mga tawag natin? Kahit ano pong dialect, kahit anong kumbaga linggo ang ginagamit natin. So pwedeng English, pwedeng Tagalog. We'll read some of your comments. So ilagay nyo po. Yan. So we're seeing yan. Mga Tagalog terms, English terms, as they called in Tagalog, yes, pwede. Pwede po, straightforward. Meron rin, yan. Classic, mga pototoy, patotoy. Vegetable parts, flower parts. Toy, ano pa ba yung mga na-experience mo doon sa mga, natin, sa mga hospitals na, tsaka clinics natin, what they're called?
Ayan, yung iba po tawag pa rin hotdog or snake. Ayun po, yung ibang mga tawag nila doon. Ano?
Flower, ano pa yung iba nating terms na ginagamit? Yan. Oh, hayop. Meron hayop dyan. Yan. Mga
Ayan.
I'm seeing mga usual eh. So, na-encounter at one point. Mga English terms. Meron ba mga English words na ginagamit to discuss or parang to describe private parts? Ano mga usual na ginagamit? Bird, yan, pwede. Flower, ang usual for sa female naman. Ano pa ba mga iba natin? So, kung meron kayo makita, meron kayong mga meron kayong gustong i-share. Yan, petchang. Ano ba yun? Parang siya eh. Competition. Yan. Okay? Mhm. Meron pa ba? Okay. So I think it's the usual na we have encountered it as pediatricians na-encounter rin namin kasi syempre we also get consent para sa pag-examine as a full physical examination. So na-discuss rin namin to. But Doc Soy, consent, boundaries, why is it important yung term na ginagamit natin when we describe the private parts and discussing it with the kids? Anong relevance mo nun? Why is it very, very important?
So, before po tayo pumunta doon, no, I'll just like to thank po yung mga audience natin na nag-participate and nag-share po sa atin. So, okay. So, yung mga private parts po, genitals like our eyes, hands, or heart are healthy and important parts of our body. We call them private parts dahil hindi ito dapat makita, mahawakan, or pag-usapan nino man except for hygiene or health reasons. So unfortunately, marami pa rin pong adults ang gumagamit pa rin ng euphemisms kagaya nga nung nabanggit. So bird, flower, or snake when talking to children. While this may feel easier, so maraming pag-aaral na nagsasabi na ang paggamit ng silly or secret names can make kids feel that these body parts are shameful or taboo. So the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends teaching the correct anatomical names even before children can speak. So sa atin, yun nga, ang tamang tawag ay dede, kiki, tite, or puwet. So children who know these terms develop healthier body image, more confidence, and better communication skills. So bakit ba ito importante for safety? Kasi sabi po sa mga pag-aaral, 89% po ng mga bata, alam nila yung tawag dun sa parts ng body nila na except for yung private parts. Pero 10% lamang po ng kabataan ang nakakaalam kung ano yung tamang tawag dun sa private parts nila. So, um, So yung mga abusers po, they rely on this confusion and yung silence. When children cannot clearly name what was touched, baka hindi po sila paniwalaan or they may be too embarrassed to even try. So imagine niyo po, pag ang batang gustong magsumbong ng pang-aabuso sa kanila, sinabi niya, "My flower hurts." O di ba po, baka yung ibang adults po hindi po siya maintindihan or some may ignore it. Pero kung ang sabi niya, "My vagina hurts," o di ba po, mas malinaw, direct, and unmistakable po yun. Doctors, teachers, parents, and even law enforcement will immediately know what the child means. So, teaching the right words empowers children and it tells them these are normal body parts like any other parts of their body and they don't need to feel shame in naming them. So this will help kids to communicate clearly and reduces secrecy around their bodies. So yan, sabi nga natin, penis and vagina aren't bad words. So once children learn naman po yung proper names, the next step is teaching them from which parts of the body are private. So a simple and child-friendly guide is the bathing suit rule. So according to this rule, yung mga body parts po ng covered ng bathing suit are private. So for girls, ito po yung dede, kiki at puwet, and for boys, ito po yung titi at puwet. So this visual helps young children clearly understand boundaries rather than abstract explanations, pwede na lang po nilang imaginein yung bathing suit. The message becomes straightforward. Yung natatakpan ng bathing suit ay private and nobody else should look or touch it. However, yung bathing suit rule also requires teaching them about exceptions. Di ba po? Meron lang two situations kung saan ang private parts ay pwedeng hawakan at tingnan. Nabanggit na po natin kanina, ito po yung hygiene and health. So hygiene refers to when a parent or trusted caregiver assists with cleaning such as during diaper change or pagpapaligo po ng maliliit na bata, while health naman refers to times when a doctor examines a child but always with a trusted adult present. So by explaining this, children learn that privacy rules are consistent but not absolute. They understand that legitimate caregiving and medical care are safe. So this clarity reduces confusion and reinforces that their body has rules. So when you link po yung body bathing suit rule with the proper names of private parts, this empowers children. So instead of vague or shame-based explanations, children gain a framework na ang private parts ko ay yung mga natatakpan ng bathing suit. They belong to me. Only certain people in certain circumstances can touch or look at them. So this prepares them to recognize when boundaries are crossed and to speak up. And then yung next po, yung principle nga na my body belongs to me. It teaches children that their bodies are their own and they have the right to decide what happens to it. So from an early age, dapat po naririnig na ng children yung mga messages na, oh, your body belongs to you, your body is yours, you are the boss of your body. Kasama po dito yung karapatang tumanggi sa mga unwanted touches, kahit pa sa pamilya, kamag-anak, kaibigan, or kahit sino pang authority figures. So teaching ownership builds self-confidence and boundary setting skills. So, body boundaries naman, mean na walang pwedeng tumingin, humawak, pag-usapan, or picturean ang private parts ng bata. Pera na lang, again, for hygiene purposes at kalusugan, gaya na po ng nasabi na. So, by making this rule explicit, children learn that inappropriate requests or actions are not their fault. They are actually violations po ng karapatan nila. So parents and caregivers can integrate this teaching into daily life. So kunwari nagpapaligo or nagbibihes, pwede pong sabihin sa kanila, oh, did you know your body belongs to you? And because it belongs to you, you get to decide what happens to it. You can say no to hugs or kisses. And then these small everyday lessons create a culture of respect. They also lay the foundation for consent education later in adolescence. So when children internalize that their body is theirs, they grow up less vulnerable to manipulation and better equipped to advocate for themselves. So, ayan po. Doc Jo, you have a question for me?
Actually, I think we opened a discussion na very engaging talaga. So, good start sa morning. Yung discussion lang doon sa words na ginagamit. So, meron akong nakita kasi mga nagta-thumbs up, nagsasabi ng approval. discussing the real words, real terms para do sa mga body parts is important kasi it's really giving them an information na important when they discuss consent at saka yung boundaries. Very, very important. So again, we discussed it. Thank you, Doc Soy. Ano naman yung good touch and bad touch? Can you give us some discussion about this?
Ayan, Doc Jo. So, we don't use na po yung terms na good touch and bad touch. Instead, we acknowledge this under the touch continuum po na categorizes touches as safe, unsafe, or confusing. So, importante pong malaman na whether a touch feels safe, unsafe, or confusing, it depends on how the child experiences it, not the intention of the person giving the touch. So, for example, yung adult po may mean na yung touch na yon is playful, affectionate, or pag-comfort, pero kung ang bata ay natatakot, hindi komportable, or naiilang, hindi po safe ang touch na iyon para sa batang yon. So, the child's perception is always the deciding factor. Yung safe touches po are those that make a child feel cared for and protected. So, this include hugs, pats on the back, high fives, and hand holding for safety. Even medical touches like an injection. So, kahit po masakit, yung injection po from a doctor, it's a safe touch because they keep the child healthy. So safe touches are perceived as warm, nurturing, and supportive. Yung unsafe touches naman po ay nakakasakit ng katawan at damdamin. So they may include hitting, slapping, squeezing, or touching the private parts without permission. So these touches ay nagdudulot ng kirot, takot, or pagkalungkot po. And these are manipulative or coercive or abusive. Children must hear clearly that unsafe touches are never acceptable at hindi nila iyon kasalanan. So, sa confusing touches, medyo tricky because it falls in between. So, they might feel good at first but then become uncomfortable. So, kunwari po, a hug that lasts too long or yung mga kilitian po that doesn't stop when the child ask you to stop. So children may think, if my relative loves me, why does this feel wrong? So that confusion can silence them. And then teaching children to trust their instincts, even in confusing situations, is important. And that some touches, kahit na po siya safe, may not be wanted. And okay lang po magsabi ng no. So, sa touch continuum, it helps children differentiate between everyday affectionate touches at inappropriate contact. It also reinforces that they always have the right to say no if something feels wrong. So, kahit na po ito ay naiisip na iba na harmless lang, meron silang karapatan talaga pong tumanggi sa mga unwanted touches, sa hugs or kisses, kahit na po anong, or kahit ano pa pong physical contact mula sa family members or kamag-anak o kung lalo na kung hindi sila komportable. This empowers them to set boundaries and feel comfortable refusing any touch that makes them uneasy. Ayan po, Doc Jo.
Thanks, Doc Soy, no? So, meron na tayong background on the body parts, on how to discuss it, and then the touch continuum. Pero, are there any safety nets para makatulong naman, suportahan yung mga parents natin or caregivers natin when discussing this with our kids or when practicing this with our kids?
Ayan, Doc Jo. So, importante kasi pag-usapan natin lahat itong mga personal safety. Bakit po? Kasi sa Pilipinas, ang child sexual abuse po ay sadly very common. So, ayon po sa
Mhm.
UNICEF 2015 National Baseline Study on Violence Against Children, isa sa bawat 5 batang Pilipino po ay nakakaranas ng sexual na pang-aabuso. Mula po sa inappropriate touching, exploitation, hanggang sa pagiging pressured into sexual acts. At madalas ang nananakit po sa mga batang ito ay hindi po strangers, kundi mga taong kilala at pinagkakatiwalaan ng bata katulad ng kapamilya, kapitbahay o authority figures. Abuse can happen anywhere, sa bahay, school, or even online. Kaya mahalaga pong turuan at bigyan ng tools ang mga bata para alam nila kung paano poprotektahan ang sarili nila at kanino sila lalapit kapag may panganib. So ano ba yung mga protective strategies na pwede natin sa kanilang ituro? So una, yung 3-step safety plan. Madali lang po yon. Say no, get away, and tell a trusted adult. So yung una, say no. Children should be taught to respond assertively. So this can be practiced po sa bahay with phrases like, stop that, ayoko niyan. 'di ba? Using a loud, confident voice reinforces their boundaries. Step two, get away. So children should remove themselves from the unsafe situation. This could mean leaving the room or stepping away from someone's lap or running to safety. That physical separation reinforces safety. And then, step three, tell a trusted adult. Yung pinaka-importante kasi yung disclosure. Children should be encouraged to talk to someone they trust. And if the first adult doesn't listen, they should keep telling. Hindi po dapat hihinto until someone helps them. Yung pagro-role play po or pagpa-practice ng mga steps na ito helps children remember them in real life situation. So practicing po sa bahay and saying na, oh, no, ayoko niyan, stop that, 'di ba? Yung ganun po pina-practice, it gives children confidence to act. When repeated regularly, these steps become second nature po. And yung pangalawa, children need to learn na ang safe na pamilya don't keep unsafe secrets. So, meron kasing distinction po yung surprises and secrets. And importante po ito. Yung surprise, katulad ng birthday party, it makes people happy. And yung surprise, di ba, it is revealed over a short period of time. Pero yung unsafe secret, it makes like for example someone saying, oh, don't tell someone I touch you, it is harmful and it must never be kept. So kasi yung sexual abusers often manipulate children by framing abuse as a secret game or special secret nila. So this secrecy traps children in silence. So reassuring children that they will never be in trouble for telling about touching problems empowers them to disclose. Yung message dapat consistent. We tell the kids, oh, you can always tell me anything. And safe secrets are never okay. And it's never your fault. Hindi mo kasalanan if someone breaks these rules. So yan, bawal po yung may secrets. And isa pa pong protective strategy ay building a safety network or safety circle. So, kailangan po mag-identify yung family nyo ng 3 to 5 trusted adults within or outside the family na pwede pong lapitan ng bata kung hindi sila komportable. For example, parents, grandparents, teachers, school counselors, doctors, or family friends. So, importante po na ma-remind po yung mga bata that if the first adult, yun nga, does not help, they should keep telling. So, hindi sila hihinto, manghingi ng tulong hanggat hindi mabigay yung tulong na kailangan nila. This persistence ensures that disclosures are not dismissed or minimized. And creating a safety network reassures children na may handang tumulong sa kanila. It also teaches them that adults in their lives are allies, mga kakampi, handang maniwala, sumuporta at magprotekta sa kanila no matter how scary or difficult the situation may be. So itong mga usapin po nito about consent and personal safety, it must be an ongoing conversation. Hindi po siya one-time, big-time talk. So parents are encouraged to use everyday opportunities like bath time, dressing, social media, or books to reinforce yung safety messages. So effective strategies po include engaging them in shared activities. Kunwari, magbabasa kayo ng storybooks about body safety together or turning daily routines into teachable moments. So, kailangan consistent po yung mensahe. Kasi just as children learn values through repetition, yung safety rules must be revisited often. And communication should be characterized by confidence, love, and openness. Kasi yung mga parents who listen actively, avoid judgment, and clearly share their values and expectations ay nakakatulong po para matutong maramdaman ng bata na safe silang magtanong. And this openness not only protects children from harm but also equips them to navigate relationships and sexuality later in life. So, but punta naman po tayo, alam niyo po ba mga parents and participants na baka meron tayong isang activity natin na sa social media na unintentionally na nako-cross na natin ang personal boundaries ng mga anak natin or ng ibang bata at nakakalimutan natin ang consent. So ano nga po ba ulit ang tawag doon, Doc Jo?
Oo, di-discuss natin yan. But first, I'd like to comment talaga si Doc Soy. When she talks about these things, may passion, may understanding. Dun sa mga viewers po, if you see, yan, thank you, marami po nag-approve. Doc Soy, very, very thankful kami. Just imagine or just think about the takeaways. Pwede nyo na makita Ako, nakita niyo yung your network of safety people. So, ang gandang idea. May doktor, may lola, may tita, may ate, may daddy, mommy. Having that picture in your hand. Tapos, as mentioned, when you start discussing it, yung consent part, when you do the consent part, this is all tying up into one important thing. Nakakalungkot, nakakatakot. Yung number na binanggit ni Doksoy. Doksoy, ilan ulit yon? One in how many ang merong
Isa sa
abuse na
bawat
nakikita?
5 batang Pilipino. Imaginein mo, Doc Jo, ang laki po nun.
Grabe, di ba? That's so
Mm-mm.
significant. And of course, we're so worried about our kids, yung mga inaalagaan natin as doctors, as caregivers, our parents. 20%. Medyo alarming yon. Now, yung mga hesitations natin about discussing naming the private parts ng tama, discussing consent na supposedly taboo before, discussing, practicing, encouraging openness sa pag-uusap na their boundaries, ito yung boundaries mo, pwede ka magsabi ng no. Just thinking about the one in five people, one in five number. We go to this practice, we go to this process because we want that number to go down or equal number. And we are very thankful for Doc Soy kasi opening us to those ideas, di ba? Yan. But, as mentioned by Doc Soy, sometimes, unknowingly, nagagawa natin yan. Consent when discussing about touching, hugging, meron yon parang physically, consent yon. But in social media, meron rin tayong consent na dapat ginagawa. So, this picture shows you some of the things na hindi natin alam na parang kailangan rin pala called sharing thing. So yung share, syempre, kinukombine natin yung mga terms, it's sharing by parents. So sharing thing tayo, meron tayong ganun. So, yan. Sharing thing actually comes from the term na as early as 2015 may description na doksoy. So, yung sharing thing pictures natin, meron na tayong mga episodes na magkukuha ka ng pictures ng family mo, sinishare mo sa iba't ibang social media platform. So as early as 2015, may discussion or may definition yan. The habitual use of social media to share news, images, and so forth for one's children. So pinapakita mo lahat na nangyayari, good or bad, and then sometimes you get comments or you ask for comments. Correct? So meron tayong tinatawag kasi na talagang numbers. Ang dami kasi sa atin ang meron ng social media. Gaano karami ba ang gumagawa gaano karami ba ang social media users na sa Philippines? Madami na. So 2025 numbers sobrang dami and the usual social media is yung Facebook, of course, maraming gumagamit ng Facebook, IG at saka Twitter. So 90.8 million na ang social media users in the Philippines in 2025. And marami doon dito nagpa-practice ng sharing thing. Yan. So, is it really that bad? Ano ba yung concerns natin about sharing thing? So, if we go to the next slide, makita natin yung mga concerns, mga pictures, lahat ng events from bata hanggang sa tumanda na. It's so concerning pero nakakagulat sa akin na average of 1,500 photos agad ang nagagamit o napopost na. Wala pang 5-year-old, hindi wala pang 5 years old yung bata. Ganun na karami ng share. That's an estimate. But this is now leaving you prone to identity thefts kasi maraming nangyayari nito eh. So, sobrang dami, 2/3 yung victim kayo ng identity theft. Sorry, I think merong konting audio problems. Hopefully, maayos na. Yan. Okay. A little better na ba or still lagging soy?
Better na po, Doc, ngayon.
Yan, sige. So, siguro I'll be a little closer na. Yan, thank you. Okay, so if you go to the next natin, um, marami pang data about it. 86% share photos ng population, ng parents. So, ganun karami ang nagsishare ng photos. Tapos, meron iba pa tayong data about it. The younger the children, the more often their closest relatives share their photos. Kasi aliw na aliw. So, sinishare nila yan. By age 5, 70% na agad ng parents nagsishare ng photos nila. And then, only a third of parents are aware that one photo is enough for a child to fall victim to identity theft. Isang picture lang, pwede na magamit yan. In the age of social media and age of AI, ganun kadelikado tayo. So tapos isipin mo ha, isang photo mo lang, 65% of people who share photos of their kids, they don't know what happened to the photos and videos that they share. So hindi natin alam kung saan siya pupunta. Hindi rin natin alam kung sino gagamit. So that's why it's important to practice rin the idea of consent and then also mga protection idea natin about it. Ayan. So you have to trust the recipients of the people na pinapakita natin. What's important, you always think before sharing something, putting it online, there's a risk that the content can be harmful to our children. So merong iba ginagamit yung data na ginagamit mo, yung footprint no, nakukuha nito, and then this can cause harm sa ating kids, if not now, in the future. So maraming pwedeng paggamitan ng pictures natin. So this is well, this is consent. This is from UNICEF, no. So meron tong samples sa different age group, lahat tayo prone when we share photos of our data or information or anything you share with our other people from what we have. So very concerning kasi everything can be managed or can be used against us and can be harmful. I have to stress yung if not now, in the future. Kasi maraming ganun scenario na hindi mo naman nakuha yung consent at a young age na ipopost ng ano mo ng may pinost mo yung event na nangyari sa anak mo. At 3 years old, at 5 years old, cute pa yan. At 9, okay pa siya. Pero those same things na pinost mo can be harmful to a teenager. Kasi makukuha at makukuha pa rin or nandun pa rin yan. So once you share it, you don't know nga eh. Kung 65% don't know kung ano na nangyari doon, it's still there. And that can be cause as a source of stress and can be harmful to our kids. Yan. So you have that negative aspects. Kasi ang nangyari, noong panahon na okay pa yung pinost mo, cute pa siya, at a certain age, iba na siya. It can have a different effect na, lalo na sa teenager. They can think of it as parang invasion of their privacy. And then magkakaroon tayo ng trust issues kasi hindi natin alam yung parents mo, dati pala pinost without your consent, ngayon teenager nakaka-affect. So magkakaroon kayo ng trust issues. And of course, nandito yung mga dangers from other people. So 1 out of 5 na natin, malaking number. And you also give them something for possible na bala, pwedeng gamitin ng ibang tao against your kids. Yan. So we have to be very, very careful. And then what's important again, when we share things, you have to discuss it with our kids. So going back to the consent part, yung opportunity to discuss consent kanina about the body parts can also be applied when we discuss consent about sharing the contents to online or platform. So kailangan pwede nyo nang i-discuss. If you don't do this, you're missing out the valuable opportunity to discuss with children yung idea ng consent. Meron kang personal discussion, and then meron kang quote-unquote high-tech discussion na consent also extends online. So, kailangan pa rin siya. Yan.
Eh, ayan, Doc Jo, ang ganda nung discussion mo, pero I have a question for you. Paano po, mayroon po
Mm.
ba tayong mga guidelines or policies or tips para sa ating mga participants and parents today tungkol sa pag-share ng
Mhm.
social media, on social media sa mga
Mm.
pictures or contents about their children?
Mm. Thank you, Soy, no? Siyempre, hoping tayo, no? So, I think it applies to everything when we practice sharing. So something or consenting is usually practiced with everything. So for example dito, yung consent kanina about hugging, kissing the kids can be also applied. You consider first the audience na i-share mo siya and how much information ang kailangan mong or dapat or pwede mong i-share. So like I mentioned, discuss or analyze or understand. This can be cute now, but in the future can be harmful. Just by that acknowledgement or just that by understanding, pwede nating sabihin, I am practicing safely sharing contents online. Tapos, it's also an opportunity to discuss with other people. The same way na open ka sa kids natin to discuss about their bodies, it's also okay to discuss with other people your idea of consent. So ang scenario dito is you take a picture and the other people take your picture with their kids. Pwede mong discuss how comfortable are you sharing online and pati sa schools pwede. So yung ano natin next discussion next slide natin sa practice sa school. Um, personal experience before parang na ako na parang lahat ng events sa school pwede kong i-share. Pero mare-realize mo hindi pala dapat. Tapos some schools are proactive. They're also advising their parents na this is not for posting. We have an official page. Please do not share. Please ask consent. So meron sariling school policies about sharing thing. The same way rin, co-parents, PTC, pwede nyo i-discuss about it. It's nice to share pictures, but there's always that consent part. So this is a slide showing you how to simply practice safe sharing thing. It's really the understanding of what to do, pero unang-una responsibility, be responsible. But in case you have to go through things, pwede mong i-delete yung mga previous mo. Pwede ka mga previous photos. Kasi nandun siya, pwede mo siyang review just in case you're worried, you can always review yung mga dinala mo dati or shinare mo dati and you can delete it. Tapos, you also always check kung sino may access privacy. So, this is also discussing yung mga pwedeng implications if you're not practicing safe sharing thing. Instead of continuing daily trend or trending na reels, dire-diretso, pwedeng mas parenting, pwede po rin tuloy, informational, pwedeng describe natin siya. Tapos of course, network natin. You share photos with only close friends and families. As much as possible, be aware kung kanino napupunta at sino nagre-receive. Kasi nga 65% hindi nila alam kung nasaan na yung shinare nila. So, that's a very, very important step natin. Plus, under UNICEF naman, meron tayong yes, exact. That's good. Opo, meron tayo. Meron tayong sa UNICEF, in-acknowledge nila na merong ways to help parents. Meron tayong online privacy checklist. So first is, checklist nga siya. So first you can check the devices. Baka merong inherent na protection na pwedeng gamitin with your devices. So yung sa privacy settings no. Settings sa privacy sa gadget or sa platform na ginagamit mo. Yan, may nag-comment about uh, setting controls sa Facebook. Yes, very good. And then setting parental controls, this can be on the use kasi making sure na kung may social media yung family member or yung ano mo, you check kung ano yung parental controls na available through the gadget or again, through your online platform. Tapos, this age, dapat tinitingnan mo palagi how are you going to adapt. So prioritize nga your family's privacy as part of the checklist and then you also stay up to date. So updated ka. Ano ba yung mga apps na pwedeng ma-practice na mas na to supportan if you're going to share? As mentioned, alam mo dapat kung kanino mo sinishare siya. May mga apps, I'm not advertising anything, pero may mga apps na talagang privacy yung concern. So tinitingnan nila muna kung kanino pupunta. Plus, it's also being updated pero discussing it with your kids. Kasi sometimes magugulat ka mas marami silang alam. So you support your child's digital literacy. Yung travel niya during the start na cute videos, later on informational, tapos later on ginagamit talaga sa schools. Be aware kung paano siya nagkakaroon ng stepwise change from just seeing educational videos to something that they're exposed to in social media. So be there when they go through that stages. So support your child's digital literacy. So again, be open. So when they see something, you discuss it. Something that's confusing, something that looks problematic, pwede nilang i-discuss. But laging pupunta doon sa concept ng consent and understanding. Yan. This is also part of the UNICEF steps natin. So pag napansin nyo, nasa first part sa sharing thing at saka social media use, online privacy. Always ask for consent. Then you manage your digital footprints. At any time, pwede mong tanggalin. Kung nag-worry ka, dapat i-consider mo kung ano ba yung na-share mo. Just in case, hopefully wala pang gumagamit. Understanding privacy and doing online safety essentials. When you practice sharing thing, you have to understand the privacy, yours and other people's privacy. And then what are your safety essentials when you do it? All this is related just in case rin dun sa legal implications of practicing consent and then yung proper online or yung ano, yung practice natin. Ayan.
And Doctor, I have a question ulit. So, paano naman po yung gagawin ng mga parents kung kunwari may nag-post na or gumamit ng ibang content ng tungkol sa mga anak nila na ibang
Yes.
tao?
Oo. So, ayan, yung nga, na-practice na nga natin. So, sabihin natin, ikaw nagpa-practice ng mabuti or responsible sharing, tapos may iba hindi nag-practice and then you were exposed to it or you become a victim. So, ang unang iisipin natin is act swiftly. So, kailangan, pag nakuha mo pa lang yan, whether you got it on your first information, sarili mo, nalaman mo, may nag-comment, or somebody explains. So, sa social media, mga platform, merong ways of requesting to, ano, to take it down or to have some form of rectification na pwede natin gawin. But also, syempre, you also have the law supporting you. So meron mga different regulations at saka laws na pwedeng protektahan. But yung ang importante, you have to act swiftly, you can gather evidence and consult legal counsel if needed. This will be the basis of your next actions. Una, gusto mo sana agad na ganun tanggalin. Ask for the admin of the platform para matanggal siya. But part of it, just in case, pwede mong gawin, gathering the evidence for future use. So related doon is you have to understand or we have some understanding of the different legal violations and claims na pwedeng sumuporta sa pag-use ng online materials or for disseminating online materials. Kasama dito yung invasion of privacy and then violation of data privacy, kasama rin yung libel sa defamation. These are some of the laws na pwedeng magkaroon ng violation. At saka of course, copyright infringements. When you consider or you think you need support, it's nice to know that we have some government agencies tayong kumuha ng so pwede tayong dumiretso sa mga government agencies natin. Ayan. Okay, so these are party yung mga sa DICT at saka National Privacy Commission. So these are very good just in case may concerns tayo pwede. So I see sa chat group meron tayong may mga suggestions for monitoring importance. Yes, very good po. We agree Ma'am Christine and then Ma'am Criselda, yes. Starting point for basic phones. Okay, ginagawa ko rin 'yan. Salamat po. Um, So again, yun yung sa sharing thing part tapos mga support natin. We'd like to say na sana we prevent something from happening or wag sana mapunta tayo sa situation na hindi natin gusto na may concerns about possible abuse. How do we go about it or how can we react to it, Doc Soy? What can we do?
Okay po. So, just to add to what Doc
Mhm.
Jojo has discussed, no, ito po yung mga ibang batas na pwedeng ma-violate po regarding sa pag-share ng photos and yun po. So, pwedeng yung RA 9995 or your RA 11930 and these are serious offenses, di po ba? So, for example po, merong nag-disclose ang isang bata na may pang-aabuso sa kanya offline or online, paano po tayo dapat mag-respond? So, yung pinaka-importante po at pinakauna pong dapat gagawin ay paniwalaan po yung bata. Kasi ayon sa pag-aaral, bibihira lamang po ng gumagawa ang kwento ang isang bata tungkol sa sexual na pang-aabuso. A calm and supportive response can make the difference between healing and further harm. So, kailangan natin gumamit ng mga statements na I believe you, salamat sa pagsabi mo sa akin, I'm sorry this happened to you, at hindi mo kasalanan. So avoid reacting po with anger, shock, or disbelief. Kahit na yun po yung nararamdaman natin, syempre, di ba, hindi magandang bagay yung ginawa sa ating mga anak. So if the child senses panic po kasi, or nakita nila na angry ka or umiyak ka, baka mag-guilty po sila or makaramdam sila ng takot na baka may ginawa silang hindi maganda at hindi na po sila magkwento nung nangyari sa kanila. it's also important po to affirm their feelings kasi some children may feel confused because of dun sa pag-aabuso, especially kung yung abuser po minanipulate sila na normal lang yung ginagawa nila or secret lang yon or expression lang yon ng love. Pero ang pagsabi po natin na alam ko mahirap at nakakatakot pero napaka-brave mo para magsabi ng naranasan mo, yun po ay makakatulong po to make the children feel safe. And next po, we have to explain clearly kung ano na po yung mga susunod na steps na gagawin. Kasi dahil dun sa pang-aabuso, 'di ba, nawalan sila ng consent, nawalan sila ng control over their own selves, nawalan sila ng autonomy. So many children feel powerless. So pagka sinabi natin na dahil ikaw ay importante, kailangan natin i-involve yung ibang tao para makatulong sa atin, para maging safe ka pa. So it restores a sense of control and trust. And we also give them choices, 'di ba, na okay lang ba na ganito yung gagawin natin kasi nga yung choice na yon natanggal sa kanila. And then we provide ongoing support, reassuring them na hindi sila nag-iisa at you will stay with them throughout the whole process. And syempre, pinaka-importante, we have to report po the abuse to the appropriate agencies to ensure po that the child's safety and well-being is protected. So, after disclosure, hindi lang po doon natatapos sa pakikinig. Kailangan natin talaga na ma-reassure yung bata and we do frequent check-ins. Like, kunwari, you did the right thing, I'm here for you. So, paulit-ulit po natin silang i-reassure po dapat. And yun nga po, yung proper agencies, ito po yun, examples ng mga hotlines kung saan po tayo pwede mag-report. Pwede nyo po itong screenshot or picturean for your reference. So, these resources exist because no child should go through abuse alone. And I want to emphasize na pag tayo pong mga adults, we respond with belief, support, and action, children begin to heal. Doon po nag-uumpisa yung kanilang paghilom or your healing journey nila. They also learn that their safety and dignity matter. So, that's about it po, Doc Jo. So, yan.
Thank you again, Soy. So, when you, talagang again, I have to comment on this. When you hear Doc Soy talk about the things na protecting our child or having the idea of supporting them, talagang with passion. So, I hope that our audience can feel the passion in your message tsaka in your delivery kasi very commendable. So yes, so we can go to our Q&A portion. Kapag may tanong po kayo, pwede pong ilagay sa chat box and then we'll try to cover as much as we can. Like to acknowledge yung mga suggestions kanina. Applying default sharing settings sa Facebook is a good start. Yes, Ma'am Criselda, that's right po. And then also yung concern or suggestion about starting basics, pwedeng phones lang muna, then gradually guiding them. That's very nice po. And Ma'am Christine Joyce Poblete, monitoring kids online as also an important step because it protects their safety, guide their behavior, and promote healthy digital habits. Yes. And also, syempre, it's also providing a foundation of trust between parents and children. So I think the discussion kanina from start na concept na you can talk about consent, can talk about body parts, you can talk about personal boundaries, you can talk about safety nets, you can talk about sharing thing and sa ano mo, that's also foundation. Kasi pag na-practice natin at a young age, pwedeng later on hindi na natin masyadong concern and the openness is there. Yan. Thank you,
Ayan,
Ma'am
Doc Jo.
Laila, for your comment. Yan.
Ayan. And then also, I received a private message. I think she's my
Yes.
classmate from high school. Oh, yung high school. Thank you po sa support. Si Miss Maui Fernandez, they're asking for a copy of the recording for their families daw and relatives. So, yun po, we will be sharing the recording, tama, Doc Jo, di ba? Of this
Yes.
lecture
It's going
sa
to be
ating
available.
Facebook page po. I'll send you the link later.
Yes. Thank you for the support
Ayan.
po. Oh, some question. When should the parents start educating their children about boundaries? Yan.
Ayan, thank
So,
you po,
Dokso, you want to
Miss
start mo?
Mary Jane. Yan, thank you Miss Mary Jane Frondoso for your question. So importante po 'yun, no? So yung body boundaries, actually yung sexuality education, part po 'yun doon. It starts from birth. So yung mga po participants natin na nag-join last year, we talked about this. It starts from birth. So from birth, baka sabihin nyo, hindi naman naiintindihan ng baby 'yon. It's more on for the ano po, parents and guardians kasi sila dapat marunong po ng language kasi 'di ba pinalaki po tayo na nahihiya tayong magsabi eh. Sino bang makakapagsabi sa atin na oh, ako ay may kiki or ako ay may tite, 'di ba nakakahiya 'yon. So yung pag set ng boundaries for the child, yun sa mga babies po, it's more on the parents and the relatives para maano po sila, tutunan po nila kung paano yung gagawin nila na kung paano pag-uusapan yung sexuality sa bahay, sa bata, and kung ano yung mga values na kailangan nating i-impart sa bata in terms of sexuality. So, yun po yung answer. At birth po, yung start ng teaching the body boundaries
Yes.
po.
Oo, tama. So, tapos ano rin, like to point out when we start educating our children, actually meron kang ano, if we have school age children niya, kasama na natin yung ano, school, nag-adjust na sila in educating about boundaries. An example is, magugulat tayo an early age yung science class natin, ang dinidiscuss na niya ano na, body parts. And then they're using the terms na talagang pangbatas. Grade 4, grade 3, it's the vagina and the penis. So, hindi siya sexual education, ha? It's actually discussing the body parts as a science, anatomy. So, pinapractice na yung word. So, there's a difference between describing and then using it in the proper context na hindi bastos. So, when you talk about it scientifically, the anatomic parts are the penis and the vagina. So, hindi mo pwedeng naman baguhin yun pag matanda na siya, saka mo lang sasabihin may age ka na. Penis and vagina yan, dating tawag mo dyan ganito. At the early stage, tinutulungan mo siya sa parents, understanding nga, bata pa lang yung parent, dinidiscuss na niya about it, para pag ready na siyang discuss sa bata, kaya niya sabihin yung words na yun. Siya mismo ready to discuss it. One more question from Ma'am Clara is, how do you manage relatives who get offended when the child doesn't want to give a hug or a kiss? May mga scenarios tayong ganito. Doc Soy, naka-experience ka na ba nito?
Ayan, meron. So, yung papaliwanag na lang na pwede silang bigyan ng alternative aside from hug or kiss na lang. Kunwari, high five or mano na lang. So, ganun na lang po siya. So, hindi po kailangan ma-offend. And then, we have to tell them also what we're practicing. That's why, sabi nga ni Doc Jo, di ba, dapat um, we help we ask the help of our relatives also in discussing these things po kasi nga yung pagpapalaki ng bata, 'di ba sabi it takes a village to raise a child, so hindi lang yung family natin yung involved, of course yung mga relatives din natin, yung mga values natin as a family, as a community, yun po yung dapat natututunan po ng mga bata. So Doc Jo,
So,
ikaw meron ka bang experience na
oo.
ganun?
Talagang adjustment. Mahirap sabihin yung process na yon. Parang una ma-offend nga sila eh. Kahit nga lolo lola ayaw daw lumapit. But remember, the 1 in 5, yun ang pinaprotektahan natin. So we try our best to make them understand. So it goes to everything. Yung pwede rin ma-offend na ayaw mong i-share yung pictures. Kakausapin mo, pwedeng ano sa atin lang to, wag for ano, for everybody to see. And then yung paggamit ng words na ang lolo, lola, ang mga tito, tita, ang tawag is ganito. Tapos pag nakarinig ng ginamit ng bata yung kiki, titi, parang sa kanila, bastos na bata. But you have to, syempre, step by step, explain na ito na ang ginagamit talagang term, ito na yung ginagamit kahit sa school. As long it's used in proper context, there's nothing to be, ano naman, really thinking na bastos siya. So, ang sagot ko rito, it's going to be a step-by-step process na ma-accept. So it's going to have some change, but we can always try to let them know or explain it to them.
Sige, ayan Doc Jo. So, yung ating pong Facebook page where, at saka yung YouTube channel where this recording will be posted, nandito po sa chat box. And then, Basahin lang po natin yung ibang comments. Sabi po ni Miss Mary Jane Frondoso, thank you po, Doctor. Thank you din po, ma'am, for joining us. And then si Miss Maricel Bagobe, she said, thank you for the very informative topic. This will help a lot personally to me as a mother of two. Good morning po sa inyo, ma'am, and to your kids. And si Miss Diane Santiago Lacerda, she said, thank you so much for this talk, Doctor. Super informative. So thank you po for participating and for protecting and upholding the rights of your children. Kasi syempre, 'di ba, kasama 'yon sa apat na rights ng bata, it's participation, 'yun yung sa consent part and yung sa protection part. Ito po 'yon. So salamat po.
Thank you very much po.
Um,
I think that's the last question or last
Ayun
comment.
pa.
Maraming
May
maraming
may comment yung
meron pa.
mama ko. Thank you. Thank you daw. So much, Doctor. Mama, thank you sa support.
Thanks for the
Ayan,
support po,
sige
ma'am.
po.
So thank you
Ay,
very much
meron
po.
pa.
Ma'am, Sir Enrico, teaching special needs students, very relevant. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you
So I
po.
think that's the last of the questions natin and the comments. I think at this point we'd like to leave some parting messages, no, sa Doc Soy. So from my part, no, I'd like to say na sharing thing is when we discuss it, pwedeng may negative pero meron rin positives. So it can be used for family bonding and community building. Nakakatulong to. So when you take pictures, you share it, but you also store it. So meron kang parang
Ay,
digital
Doc.
photo book. So makikita natin na pwede nating i-share to with other people. Pero as a family,
Hmm.
nakikita natin yung bonding part nito. Sa community rin, if you have the consent of sharing sa community and the community, you gave your consent to the community, the activities in the community, pwedeng na-document rin it and it can also be shared. So it promotes community building. Thus, we also discussed that this is a good time to discuss digital literacy and then for educational purposes na di-discuss rin natin sa kids natin. And of course, we also have to admit some of the sharing thing materials are part of the careers or source of income. So kasama doon, share responsibly and understand the effects of this to your kids in their futures. How about you, Doc Soy? Meron ka bang parting words? Mga
Ayan po.
messages?
Yes po, Doc Jo. So para madali pong tandaan, we can use two acronyms po. Voices para sa consent and PATS for personal safety. Voices. Sa consent is V, voluntary, hindi freely given without pressure, force, or coercion. O, ongoing, it can change anytime, di ba? Kahit pumayag kanina, they can change their minds. I, informed, dapat malinaw kung ano yung pag-oohan. C is clear, hindi pwede ang silence, hesitation, or half-hearted na okay, or sige na nga. E, enthusiastic, consent should sound like a happy, confident yes. And S is for share. Dapat pareho po tao ang nag-a-agree. One-sided is never consent. So for personal safety, na-share ko na po ito last time. So PATS, P, private parts, dapat turuan ng bata ng tamang pangalan ng private parts at hindi dapat ito hahawakan, titingnan, pag-uusapan, or pipicturan. A is always covered. Ito yung bathing suit rule that anything covered by the bathing suit is private. T, touching rule. Ito, meron tatlo tayong under that. So, my body is mine. Remind the children that and help them recognize yung safe, unsafe, and confusing touches or yung touch continuum. And practice po dapat yung 3 safety steps. Say no, get away, and tell a trusted adult. H, honesty. Wala dapat secrets especially about touching. And S is the safety circle. They should know 3 to 5 trusted adults na pwedeng lapitan if they feel safe. So if you remember po yung voices and paths, we can guide our children and teens to respect their own bodies and the boundaries of others. These two acronyms can serve as anchors for consent and personal safety. So yan po, Dr.
Thank you, Soy. Thank you talaga. Well said. Truly, this discussion has been a great start to our morning. So, to all of you watching this morning, ito Doc Soy, until our next coffee and
Coffee and
conversation.
conversation.
Thank you very much po sa lahat. Maraming salamat po.